What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. I've noticed that when it comes to solo queue, being passive aggressive is arguably a bigger problem than raging, simply because it happens way more often. I touched over a little bit in a previous video, but I'd like to go a bit more in depth. Let's get started. Now, being passive aggressive is defined by Wikipedia to be the indirect expression of hostility. It's a way for people who aren't comfortable being openly aggressive to get what they want. Now, most normal people who aren't assholes are not going to be comfortable being openly aggressive, which is good. And as such, being passive aggressive is how your seemingly nice guy gets by being mean. But in actuality, being passive aggressive, although it may seem harmless, can be very hurtful and is a big problem in League. Some of the most common phrases of a passive aggressive player are asking why and trying to give advice in a hurtful way, such as, if you stopped overextending, you wouldn't be feeding so much. Those kinds of phrases are being passive aggressive, and while you're on the giving end of those phrases, it does not feel like raging at all. But when you're on the receiving end of those phrases, it definitely does feel like you're being flamed at. And that is the problem with being passive aggressive. When you're being passive aggressive, you rage without actually thinking you are raging, so it's very easy to do without noticing. But in actuality, asking why is a terrible reaction to have, and the earlier phrase can easily be replaced with, I think you would have a better time if you played safer from now on. So how can you avoid being passive aggressive? Well, the first step to stop being passive aggressive is to admit that you're doing it, and at that point it's not too hard to fix. Just identify incidents in which you're being passive aggressive and use those to become self-aware. That is the key thing to not being passive aggressive, as when you are, you often don't know how mean you're actually being. Look for patterns that you can work to avoid, and then when you type out the advice or really just any message, you want to think about if you would be okay being on the receiving end of that message, and more often than you might think, you can see that it would be a little bit hurtful. And also, you should never talk in a sarcastic way. Sarcasm transfers terribly over text, and often just ends up being mean, so sarcasm is a definite no-go. When you talk to people in League, you have to realize that in order to communicate your message over in a proper way, you really need to do it in a nice way, and anything that makes your teammates feel bad is going to be a bad idea and shouldn't be done. Anyways, my name is Jeremy, and that's it for my video on being passive aggressive. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to check out some of my others on the screen right now. I'd love it if you could support me with a like, and make sure to subscribe for some more awesome content in the future if you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.